What's good, guys? We're back again for another video. We're here for the trading revision for this week. It's actually been horrible. I'm gonna keep it straight with you. We just took L's after L's after L's. So we're just gonna learn, and yeah, we've lost like around $100. So let's see what we did wrong that we could have saved that amount, or essentially decreased the amount that we lost this week. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and let's get to the video. Okay, this week was a very interesting week, and what it taught me this week was maybe not to trade every day at the first week of the month, because it seems like I just had no understanding, even though the week before that I had a massive win, a massive winning week. So it's crazy how, you can start losing really quickly. Anyway, starting with this trade, the reason why I took this trade was purely because it was at the monthly open price. I was expecting price to grab this liquidity just here when price came down. Although what price did is price came down, rejected off the monthly open price, faked me out. I took a buy right here, and then price came straight back down to my stop loss. If I was perhaps to be more patient, you could say I would have still hopped in just a bit lower here, although I still would have been taken out because price ultimately wanted to push to the downside. And the reason why we could see that is because price has just been pushing up for a while, so it's very much expected for price to be coming back down. It needs a break. So for this, guys, we can clearly see that it was one-sided. Price was only on one side for most all of London and most of New York, or all of New York as well, just with a bit on the downside at the end of New York. So what we could expect from this is that if price is in an uptrend and it's being overextended, we can say, or we can classify it as overextended, and price goes into a sort of congestion phase, we could expect price to be wanting to reverse. Because, we can clearly see here price has just been like, price came back for a retracement, then came up and came back down, and it kind of just stayed in this bubble area and then broke to the downside. So that definitely made sense. I should have understood what was happening earlier. Anyway, coming back to this, there was no news today, so this wouldn't have been my go-to option for the sell due to the fact that it was still in an uptrend. That was me taking a sell against the trend. Didn't even grab the top liquidity here, so it really wasn't making sense for me to take a sell here at all, but I was here for it, and price did look compelling to take the sell, although I just didn't expect price to be pushing down, honestly. So for this, I think this was just a normal loss, to be honest. I could have been a bit more patient. I could have taken it earlier, meaning I would have still been in even though price came down, although I just ended up taking an L here. What I could do to prevent this L really was to nothing. I don't think I would have prevented this. I think this was just an invalid trade. Either way, if I was still in this, my stop loss was not hit here, it would have been hit down here. This was just a normal trade, a normal loss. Coming to Tuesday, price bounced off the monthly open price. The 1st of October, price was kind of congesting above the 1st of October, the daily open price and the weekly open price, and then came down. And from this, I did first expect price to be in that downward formation, if that makes sense, where price comes up first and then comes down. Although price was kind of ranging around this area, congesting, so I didn't think it was necessarily about that. I thought price was more of like congesting, push it down one way, and then comes back up. Although what was actually happening was that price was actually coming up, down, and it just didn't want to come up today. So for this, was this another L? I wouldn't say this was a bad trade at all. I think this was a really good trade as well, just because I took a buy at the right area where price started congesting before it started pushing down more in New York, which I would have been asleep for. So I wouldn't think this was a bad trade at all. I think this was a very good trade due to the fact of when I got in at the perfect time when price started congesting more during New York. Coming to Wednesday, I took another buy here. This buy, it seems that it is on the 2nd of October. I'll quickly check. The 2nd of October, we have news. So the reason why I took a buy here was close to the end, and for this whole day, I actually wasn't aware that price hit this area and this was a good buying area. Although I would have held this either way, I actually got into a better position later on, and this is where price invalidated me once again. Would I say this is a bad trade? No, this is just one of those trades where it just so happened to take me out, right? But what I could probably try to notice about this trade is how price was supporting this level, and then price broke through, came back up once again, and rejected off this area, if that makes sense. That doesn't really make sense, but the point of which I'm trying to get at this time, price was trying to break through, but once price broke through, it came back up to retest this recent resistant area and then just started pushing to the downside. So I think this was just another loss that I just had to take. I don't think I would have done anything differently. Maybe if I just analyzed differently of that price was more in the retracement phase instead of the buying phase, and I wasn't so hesitant on missing out on the buy to the upside, and I was more focused on taking that sell on the retracement. So I can kind of learn through that where I could take a sell here just before price would have turned, like it would have been 10 o'clock. So coming to this, guys, what I could have learned from this was it was just a bad week for me. Could I have been more patient? Yeah, not really, because, you know, I was having a buy bias. Probably what I got wrong during this whole week wasn't actually my trades, but it was my bias. It was good trading area, it was just the wrong bias, and that's why I got taken out so many times during this week. I was expecting price to continue my way later on this week, although it never seemed to happen. And what happened even more is that price started going down like crazy, especially on Thursday, which coming to Thursday, I took another buy, which invalidated me once again right here, and it was at 6:30 around. This was the 3rd of October. There was another red news here, and I thought this was the best opportunity because price pushed down 1% in one whole day. Really not even one whole day, just in London. In London, up to London, from the start of the daily open to London, price pushed down 1%, which was absolutely amazing because in this situation, I was thinking this is going to be a really good risk to reward buy to the upside. So if I was to know that I was wrong for this week and it was just a bad market for this week, this was probably the only trade which I would have taken for sure, even though I wasn't trying to take any trades, due to the fact that price deviated so much and it was just a good risk to reward trade. Could I have done anything better? Not really, because I could have taken a buy here, which I did, or just down here, which I saw before, although I still would have been invalidated, although I just did keep to my one trading loss each day. It's not really a rule, but I try to stick to it because I've realized that the more I actually enter in on trades, the more wasteful it is. Like there's no point in me entering in on another trade if I followed my strategy, because that's like where the optimal area is to take a buy. And if price doesn't move from there and moves down further, let's just say about that, then we just have to learn from our mistakes and refine our strategy a bit more, tweak it a bit more if we see it occurring more often. So that's what happened on Thursday. Took an L where the monthly open price was 1% deviation. Everything, price was still on the uptrend. It just came down for that huge retracement. So I was expecting for sure a buy at least on Friday. I never lost hope. And through this whole trade, I actually didn't take a trade at all. Then price came down with news, came down here. And during this time, I'm pretty ashamed to say this, but I was drunk. I was drunk during this right now. And my entry was literally right here. If you can see clearly right here, my entry was right there, and price literally didn't even move up. I got price when price started pushing down. So if I was just a bit more patient, and the reason why I took a buy here was because it looked like the retracement entry to hop in. The retracement entry is when I put a Fibonacci here, and it just looks like price was respecting the 61% and also came down to the 78.60%. So it was perfect for me to take a buy. Plus the monthly open price, which we've talked about, which is the support area. So I was like, this is a perfect area for me to take a buy. Although price does look kind of small here, guys, although price has been deviating heavily. So the charts, the 5-minute candles are actually way bigger in size. It's just still small, if that makes sense. So my stop loss was 18 pips. I usually have around 9 pips to 15 pips max. So 18 pips is when price starts to deviate heavily. So the candle bars are actually bigger in size, although it looks smaller on the screen. So that's really what happened. If I was just a bit more patient and I just waited for price to come back down and I wasn't too hasty, I would have waited for a buy here and at least would have made a 1 to 2 or 1 to 2.7. I would have made a bit of my money back. Although I think during this whole week, I think I was risking half the amount, or I think on Tuesday, I started risking half the amount. Sometime during this week, I started risking half the amount because I'm on a losing streak. And when I start winning again is when I'm going to start increasing my size. This is my first fades and I'm already down $100, guys. So the lesson to learn in this situation is just to decrease my risk due to the fact that I'm especially on a funded account and I don't want to necessarily blow it. So decrease my risk until I start winning, then I start increasing my risk once again. And yeah, That's really it, guys. And just don't be drunk on Fridays. That's really it until you finish trading. So hopefully if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe. I'm going to go back on this once again to see if I actually didn't miss any sort of nitty gritties that I could learn from. I could definitely learn from the last trade, which is so annoying because the last trade is when I'm drunk. All these other trades, I'm focused, I'm locked in after work, I've done everything I needed to do. But the last trade is when I'm drunk. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys have a good Sunday. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.